Quick question. So, you know that course or that piece of equipment or that holiday or that item of clothing that you've been looking up on the internet or walking past the shop window or like reading all the gear magazines on, and or you're on your social media and it keeps coming up, and you're like, yeah, do you know what, that really feels like something that I need to do for myself. And then you scroll down or you sort of like browse, and then you see like the price tag and you're like, but I certainly possibly could not dare to even dream of spending that amount of money on myself. I want you to hang out here for a second, because I want to share some insights around this very thing that feel like they've been very powerful and very healing for me on my creative journey and my own journey of creative recovery, but also something that I hope will help you wherever you're at, whether you are a creative or just someone who's looking to build a life that has a lot more freedom and joy and authenticity about it. And hang out here for a second. Before we get into that though, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is S.A.A.R.A. I am a musician from London. I write and produce my own style of electronic, funk, EDM. I am also a creative empowerment coach. So I've worked with clients who have felt blocked and have felt like they're not making progress in their creative work. So I've helped them work through that by confronting these stories that get stuck in our head on repeat, that stop us from living the life that we want. But on top of all of that, I am also someone who is going through their own experience of block and breakdown and recalibration and reframing and healing, based off the back of my whole world changing around about 3 years ago, where I started to kind of look at the life that I'd created and realize there's a lot of unhappiness here. There's a lot of outward performance of openness and joy and happiness, but I was starting to find that I was draining myself of energy, of joy, of respect, because I wasn't living true to myself. So I took some time out. I took some time away from coaching, time away from music. I changed the course of my career. And in that period of rest, which I'm still moving through, quite honestly, I've really started to dig through the rubble and figure out, okay, what is in my power to control, where I can set myself up to not only surpass where the achievements that I have made for myself, but be able to continue to grow in a way that feels naturally aligned with who I am, that feels kind of comfortable and safe, And part of that journey is me showing up here once a week and giving you a bit of a from the heart, unscripted download on things that have really been coming to the surface for me that I think hopefully will be useful to you. And today I want to talk about the kind of discomfort that comes with taking a decision to invest in yourself. And investing in yourself, to me at least, means many things. It's talking about time and energy. But one of the sticking points I find myself coming up against consistently is money. Taking money and investing it in myself, like buying that course, booking a trip where I can actually get some rest and relaxation and recharge my batteries, thinking about how do I show up in the world, like can I think about how I look, or what I put on my skin, or the shoes that I wear. Like all of these things are ways that you can invest in yourself. And I recently have been asking myself why I found that so difficult. So for example, investing in, like I said in my last video, investing in some coaching around my vocals. And it's funny, the feeling that comes up every time I get an invoice from my tutor. I'm like, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to spend this money to advance a skill that brings me a lot of joy. Like, I'm there, I look at the invoice and I set up the transfer and I hit transfer, and rather than thinking, God, this feels great, I'm like, ooh, okay, can I afford this? Am I allowed to do this? Is this okay? Like, is this a waste of money? So concerned about these feelings of it being a waste, of it being a frivolity. And I was thinking about that a lot today, and I thought these feelings come up because there's some part of me deep down is saying, I'm not worth it. Like, I'm not entitled to spend responsibly, by the way, to spend money that I've earned through my work on investing in my creative work. And if you're a working creative like me, there is, at least in my experience, there feels like there's this almost kind of, I don't want to use the word shame, but it certainly feels that way. There's a shame that comes with, okay, but you work, and it's like, well, yeah, I absolutely do, because I have to invest in having a home, I have to invest in having food to eat, and unfortunately, the way the arts are right now, it's really hard to do those things with confidence unless you're in a position to earn a significant amount of money from your creative work alone. But in saying that, it does give me the opportunity to invest in my creative work in a way that I wouldn't be able to if I wasn't working full time at the moment. And every time I go to make that transfer, I think, is this a waste of money? But what else should I be spending that money on? And like I say, circling back to that experience of, well, why does it feel like a waste? Because each time I entertain that thought, what I'm reinforcing is that small part of me saying, you're not worth the investment. And the problem with that is, by saying I'm not worth the investment, I'm immediately undercutting any potential growth. Because if you want to see growth in anything, you have to invest. You have to invest time and attention and resources. It's like, watering a plant. You have to invest that water if you want to see the growth. And looking at the things that will give you that growth and making really well-informed, responsible financial decisions to make those investments in those areas is going to give you that growth. And what I would encourage anybody who's watching this video who's thinking, yeah, I really want to buy a new camera so I can work on my photography projects, or I want to buy a new DAW, or I really need a break. I really need to just de-stress, or go on a spa trip, or book a massage, things like this. Like, these little gifts that we give to ourselves are so important, more than just the immediate relief or the immediate problem that having this thing or having this experience solves. It goes so much deeper than that, because what we're doing is reinforcing the fact that we are worth investing in. Our vision is worth investing in. Our creative goals and talents and skills is worth the investment. So make the leap. And when you do, say a little blessing on that transaction. Say a few words to really just acknowledge that this is an investment you're making in yourself, because you believe that you have the potential to grow. This is something that I'm going to start doing every time I make that well thought out investment in myself. Every time I think about enrolling in a new course or buying a new piece of equipment, I'm going to say, I am making this purchase because I believe in the growth potential that up-leveling my skills is going to give me. And another thing that I would say around that is, it's not always all about money. As I said at the start of the video, investing in yourself is also about time. And that is one thing where we really struggle to sit and give dedicated time to ourselves, like focus time on the thing that we want to see grow. And one thing, people will say, especially if you work full time and you live a fast paced life, and perhaps you've then got dependents and people that you care for in your home and beyond. I don't have time. Like, oh, it's all well and good for you, but I actually don't have time. I even find myself saying that I ran out of time. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to get to that. I wish I had more time. But then I will be doom scrolling. I'll just be giving my time away. Your time is such a powerful resource. So even if you're thinking, okay, right now, maybe you don't have a bit of cash going spare, like even if you were going to put together like a little plan and save up towards your goals so that you can invest in yourself in that way, like monetarily, definitely have a look at where you're failing to invest in yourself in terms of time, because that is a resource that we all have, but we have to manage it carefully, particularly in this digital age where there are distractions everywhere. It's so easy to lose an hour scrolling through Instagram, but when you think about taking that hour and putting it into your creative pursuit, all of a sudden it's like, that feels impossible. Start challenging yourself to understand that your time as a resource is so valuable, and you need to invest it wisely. And the first thing that you need to start looking at is how much of your free time outside of work and other commitments are you investing in yourself, and how much time are you just leaking and losing. And if you don't have a lot of time, start being, really analytical. Where can you get an extra 15 minutes, an extra half an hour, 45 minutes? Like maybe your morning commute, if you can, sketch, if you're an artist, write lyrics, if you're a musician. Maybe it's that time between getting into bed and turning the lights out. Maybe it's just meditating. Maybe it's just having a journal practice where you just be a little bit more mindful about your day. Maybe it's sitting down and actually making a plan once a week on how you're going to manage your time. But definitely start believing that you're worth the investment. That's something that I am really training myself to do as I move through this journey, is understanding I am worth the investment, and be really savvy about it. Like understand that yes, you will find opportunities, and sometimes those opportunities will ask you to part with your hard-earned cash. Make an educated decision that's in line with your goals and your financial capabilities, but make that decision with the bedrock of knowing that you are worth that investment. Say it to yourself every day. Say that you are worth having nice things and having great experiences, and set yourself up to make that possible for yourself, because ultimately anything and everything is possible. We just have to invest the time, the energy, and the resources into that dream. So I've kind of gone on a bit of a ramble. It just felt like something I really needed to speak on today. If this has resonated with you, please let me know. Like I say, I put these videos up. This is a weekly commitment I'm making to ensure that I am keeping focused on my own creative growth, my own journey of creative healing. And I want to share this with you because it's so easy, like I say, to be looking through all of these kind of motivational videos on the internet, and people are telling you how they've done all of these things, but actually right now you just need someone to tell you all you got to do is just show up, commit, make it a habit, make it a practice, hold yourself accountable, and you will start to see the gains. So I hope that helps. Please like and subscribe and share this video with someone who may need to hear this message as well, someone who finds it hard to invest in themselves, particularly those really, really lovely, generous friends who show up for everybody, but you rarely see them showing up for themselves. This is a reminder to you and to them and to me, you are worth the investment. So go and make your dreams a reality. And I will see you next week. Bye.